Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Um,
Today,
yeah.
we're going to be looking at the world of media and tech,
Okay.
and more specifically, how content is evolving in this
Right.
crazy landscape that
Mm.
just seems to be constantly shifting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's pretty wild out there.
it is.
Yeah.
And we have a really interesting article from nGülam. It's titled Evolution of Content Distribution, Strategies for a Multi-Platform World.
Wow.
I know it's a mouthful,
Yeah, that's a long one.
but trust me, it's packed with insights.
I bet.
You don't want to miss this.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so
Yeah.
what I thought was really interesting is how the article talks about all the different strategies
Right.
that these major players like Netflix and Disney are using to kind of like
Yeah.
navigate these
But
social...
especially with streaming
Right.
and, trying to reach global audiences.
Exactly.
It's a whole different ballgame now.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. The article starts out with this crazy stat.
Oh, really?
Global streaming subscriptions have passed a major milestone in 2024. And this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because it shows a huge shift
Mm-hmm.
in how we're all consuming content.
Well, for sure. Like, it's not even a question.
It's not even a question anymore.
No,
it's
and
like,
everyone's streaming.
exactly.
Yeah.
So things like cable TV
Right.
and even movie theaters are losing ground
Fast.
really fast. And in their place,
Yeah.
we've got this battle going on,
Uh-huh.
the streaming wars,
Yeah.
as they call it.
That's what they're calling it.
And right now, Netflix is still the king,
Oh, yeah.
right?
They're still on top.
But the article mentions that Amazon Prime Video
Okay.
is projected to be right on their heels by 2029.
Wow. So they're coming up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I mean, even giants can stumble.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, the article brought up Disney Plus
Okay.
as an example.
Yeah.
And even with a brand as strong as Disney, they haven't seen the growth that they initially expected.
Really?
So it's just a good reminder that success in streaming
Yeah.
is not a given.
Not at all.
You need a solid plan.
Yeah.
And
You got to know what you're doing.
especially when it comes to content spending.
Oh, absolutely.
So the article goes on to compare Netflix and Disney's spending habits.
Okay. Interesting.
And it's really interesting to see how their spending
Mm-hmm.
kind of reflects their overall approach to this.
Right.
So Netflix is all about that aggressive growth.
Yeah.
They've been pouring money into original film releases.
Yeah. It's like they have endless pockets.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
And they're doing this even during the industry strikes.
I know.
Think about it. $13 billion in 2023.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah.
And the article says they're projected to hit $17 billion by 2024.
So even more.
Yeah. So they're definitely willing to spend big
Yeah.
to keep those subscribers.
To keep them coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then you contrast that with Disney.
Okay, so what are they doing?
They're focused on cost cutting.
Oh, so the opposite.
Yeah, and actually trying to turn a profit
Right.
with their streaming platform.
Okay, so they're thinking long term.
Yeah, and their content spending actually went down to $27 billion in 2023.
Huh.
So it's a pretty significant drop.
Yeah.
So they're taking a more,
a more cautious approach.
yeah, and maybe even a more sustainable route.
Right, because you can't just spend.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
And the projection is that they'll be down to $25 billion in 2024.
Wow. So they're really cutting back.
Yeah. Makes you wonder which strategy is going to work.
I mean, who knows?
Right.
It's tough to say.
But this actually leads into a bigger point the article makes
Okay.
about content spending overall.
Okay.
So global film and TV content spending actually kind of stalled out in 2022 and 2023.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was hovering around $243 billion.
And why do they think that happened?
Well, they think this stagnation was heavily influenced by the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Those are big.
But there is some good news.
Oh, good.
The article projects a rebound to about $247 billion in 2024.
Okay, so things are looking up.
Hopefully, yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, finger crossed.
But even with these ups and downs,
Yeah.
one thing's clear.
What's that?
Original content is king.
Oh, yeah.
So the article highlights a 2024 survey
Okay.
that found 40% of U.S. consumers subscribe to streaming services,
Okay.
mainly for those original series.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why I subscribe to a lot of them.
And it makes sense
Yeah.
because original content is what
Yeah.
gives these platforms their identity.
Yeah, you're right.
It's what draws people in
Sure.
and keeps them hooked.
Yeah, it's like that's their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So makes sense that it's such a huge focus.
Yeah, no, totally.
So Netflix is a perfect example of this.
Okay, how so?
The article mentions that original content made up 57% of their total viewing hours in the first half of 2023.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And think about global hits like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That's the power of creating and owning your own hits.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's even more interesting
Yeah.
is that Netflix's viewing hours for licensed content actually went down late last year.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it makes you wonder if this is a bigger trend.
Yeah, are studios kind of like moving away from that licensing
Yeah.
and just focusing more on feeding their own platforms?
That's what it seems like.
Interesting.
And this shift towards original content is happening as streaming services are going global.
Right. Going global.
Which brings us to another big trend the article explores.
What's that?
Local content.
Okay.
So shows like Squid Game
Oh, yeah.
and Money Heist have proven that stories from different cultures
Right.
can really connect with audiences worldwide.
Oh, for sure.
And Netflix is taking this to heart.
Okay.
They're investing more and more
Yeah.
in local productions
Mm-hmm.
to cater to their growing subscriber base
Yeah.
in regions like Europe, Asia, and Latin America.
Makes sense. I mean, they have to cater to their audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a smart move.
Yeah.
Just look at the numbers.
What do they say?
In July 2024, the Norwegian film Troll
Oh, yeah, I heard of that one.
and Squid Game
Oh, wow.
were two of the top non-English titles on Netflix.
So there's a huge appetite for that.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
And this ties into another key point the article makes.
Okay.
We're moving away from this single
Uh,
dominant distribution model.
right.
Like, it's not just cable anymore.
Exactly.
It's a multi-platform world.
Yeah, it's great.
You got your subscription services like Netflix and Disney Plus,
Mm-hmm.
but then you also have those ad-supported platforms.
Right, like a VOD.
PVOD, exactly.
Yeah.
What about those fast channels?
Oh, yeah, those are getting really popular.
Yeah, I feel like I hear about them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to be big.
Yeah, so it's like this totally fragmented landscape.
Yeah,
And with all these different platforms,
right.
content creators can't just rely on one model anymore.
No, they got to get creative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They got to be creative with their strategies.
Right.
And that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, so,
Well, the article highlights the rise of these hybrid models like PVOD.
okay, PVOD. Break that down for me.
So PVOD stands for Premium Video on Demand.
Oh, okay.
And it basically allows viewers to rent or buy movies
Oh.
soon after they hit theaters.
Wow, so they don't have to wait.
No,
That's interesting.
it's a game changer.
Yeah, it is.
It could totally disrupt the traditional model
Yeah.
of having to wait months to see a film
Mm-hmm.
outside of theaters.
Yeah.
So it's about giving viewers more options,
More control.
more control,
Yeah.
and probably creating new revenue streams for studios.
Right, because they're getting the money comes in faster.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good model.
And it's not just about finding new ways to deliver content.
Right.
It's about understanding what today's consumers want.
Oh, yeah.
And they are demanding more flexibility,
Right.
more convenience,
Yeah.
and content that's personalized
Yeah.
to their tastes.
To their tastes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about the consumer now.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fascinating shift.
It really is.
It's like we're moving away from this idea of passive viewership,
Right.
and it's becoming more active and engaged.
Yeah, like the audience has more power than ever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that puts a lot of pressure on the creators
Mm-hmm.
and the distributors
Yeah.
to adapt and evolve.
They really have to understand what makes people subscribe to streaming services in the first place.
Yeah, why are they choosing one platform over another?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the article talks about this.
Okay.
They mention a 2024 survey of U.S. consumers that looked into their reasons.
Go to subscribing to streaming services.
Interesting.
So what were some of the key findings?
Well, the top reason was actually access to specific content.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
52% of respondents said that was their main motivation.
Wow. So it's not just about having a big library.
No.
It's about having the right stuff.
Exactly.
The stuff people are actually looking
The
for.
stuff they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So close behind that at 40% was the appeal of those original series.
Right, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But it really shows how important that is for
Yeah.
getting and keeping subscribers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then coming in at 31%
Okay.
was the desire for specific types of content.
Okay, so like maybe someone's into documentaries or like foreign films,
Right.
and they subscribe to a platform that has that.
Yeah, that specializes in those things.
Exactly.
So it shows that people are,
They know what they want.
yeah, they're more picky.
Yeah. They're not just taking anything.
We're looking for quality.
They want a curated experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a combo of factors
right.
that are driving these subscription decisions.
Yeah.
It's like they want that diverse content library.
No.
They're drawn to those originals, and they want to be able to easily find what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about convenience, too.
Right. Content is still king.
Oh, yeah.
But how it's delivered and experienced is changing.
Right.
And the article goes beyond just describing these trends.
Okay.
It talks about what content creators and distributors can actually do to succeed in this new landscape.
So what do they say?
So what are some of the key strategies?
Yeah, what should these companies be doing?
Yeah, what do they need to do to thrive in this crazy multi-platform, globally focused world?
Okay.
So first of all,
Yeah.
they need to understand content trends and audience preferences.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, it's not enough to just throw stuff out there
Yeah.
and see what happens.
That's not the old days anymore.
Right. You got to have a plan.
You have to be strategic.
Yeah.
And you got to use data.
Data's key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that look like?
Well, you have to analyze viewership data,
Okay.
do market research, stay informed about new platforms and technologies.
Right.
You know, really understand.
Yeah, like keep learning.
Keep learning.
Yeah.
What's working, what's not working.
Exactly, and how things are changing.
Right, because it's always changing.
Yeah, it never stops.
No.
So they need to be adaptable.
Yeah.
And they need to be agile.
And willing to change their strategies.
Yeah, based on the data.
Right.
Yeah.
Always be testing.
And this leads to another point.
Okay.
They need to develop a good content strategy.
Right.
And that strategy needs to be comprehensive, but also adaptable.
Right. So it's not just about making good content.
Yeah.
You have to know where to put it.
Right.
How to market it.
Yeah.
And how to refine your approach.
Based on those insights.
Exactly.
Yeah, gotta be on top of it.
And this makes me think about that balance between original and acquired content.
Okay, yeah.
So we talked a lot about originals.
Yeah.
But the article also mentions the success of acquired content.
Right.
They highlighted Suits as the most watched acquired series in the U.S. in 2023.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it shows that a balanced approach can really work.
It can be effective.
Yeah.
So you can appeal to a wider audience.
Right?
But you can also manage your risk a little bit.
Yeah, because original content is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So having a mix can help you manage those costs.
Right. And maybe tap into some existing fan bases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's smart.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of appealing to a broader audience, the article stresses the importance of having a global mindset.
Oh, yeah. You can't just focus on one place anymore.
No.
You got to think global.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Well, it starts with investing in local content.
Right. Which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But it also means understanding
different cultures.
Different cultures, yeah.
Yeah.
Adapting content for different markets.
Right.
And strategically expanding those distribution channels.
Yeah. Yeah, to reach new audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to know your audience.
So it's like they need to become experts in cultural translation.
Yeah. It's like making sure it resonates authentically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And then, of course, there's the tech side of things.
Oh, yeah.
So the article talks about leveraging technology and automation to streamline workflows, optimize content delivery, and personalize the viewing experience.
It's getting futuristic.
Right.
Yeah.
They even mention AI being used to create content.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's wild.
Yeah, it is.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's interesting. I think AI-powered tools can be really helpful.
Right?
Like they can analyze all that data, understand audience behavior, personalize recommendations, and even like write scripts or edit videos.
Wow.
Yeah, it's still early, but the potential is huge.
It makes you wonder about the role of humans in all of this.
I know, right?
Like, are we going to be replaced by algorithms?
Yeah, are we all going to be out of a job?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be a need for human creativity.
Yeah.
You know, and storytelling.
Right.
Technology can be a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But it's still got to come back to those human stories.
Right, and those emotions.
Exactly.
So it's about finding ways for humans and machines to work together.
To work together.
Yeah. Not against each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like enhance and amplify.
Exactly.
Human creativity, not replace it.
Yeah, yeah. So we covered a lot.
We did.
We talked about all these challenges and opportunities.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to the individual listener.
Okay.
Like, what does all this mean?
Yeah.
For someone who's working in media and tech.
Well, it means you got to be adaptable.
Right.
You got to be a lifelong learner. You got to embrace new tech and ways of thinking.
Right.
Yeah, because the skills that were valuable 5 years ago might not be so relevant today.
Because things are always changing.
Exactly.
It's the only constant.
The only constant. Yeah.
So the companies that are going to succeed are the ones that can anticipate and adapt to all of this change.
Yeah, they got to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, they got to be on top of it.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving this conversation feeling inspired.
Yeah, me too.
I hope our listeners are too.
I hope so.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of content distribution, be sure to like and subscribe for more insights.
Yes.
So we covered a lot of ground here.
We did, yeah.
We talked about streaming wars, content spending, local productions, AI tools.
All the things.
It's clear that the content landscape is not static.
No, it's not.
It's always changing.
Yeah, it's dynamic. It's always evolving.
Yeah. And I think it's important to kind of step back.
Take a breath.
Yeah, then think about
what it all means.
What it all means,
Yeah, like what are the key takeaways that we can apply to, our own understanding of all this.
Yeah.
The media and tech industries.
Yeah. For me, it boils down to the fact that content distribution is in constant flux.
Yeah.
It's being driven by the streaming wars.
Right.
The changing behaviors of consumers and the need to reach global audiences.
It's a global game now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit all the main points.
The companies that are going to thrive in this environment are the ones that are agile, adaptable, and data-driven.
You got to use the data.
Yeah. They need to be ready to anticipate and respond to those changing demands from both the audience and the market.
The global marketplace. Yeah. It's not easy.
So what does this all mean?
Yeah, that's a good question.
For the listener.
Right. Like, what can they do?
Yeah. How can they apply these insights to their own work, their creative endeavors, even their viewing habits?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This isn't just about
big companies. Industry trends.
It's about how we experience content.
Yeah. In our everyday life.
In our everyday lives.
Yeah. It affects all of us.
And as consumers, we have a lot of power.
Oh, yeah, we do.
To shape this landscape.
More than ever before.
The choices we make, the platforms we support, the stories we engage with.
They all send a message to those creators, the distributors.
So we need to be mindful.
Yeah. Mindful of those choices.
Yeah.
Support the content that you like.
Right.
Explore new voices, new perspectives.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah. Try new things.
Try new platforms.
New ways of watching.
Yeah.
It's a fun time to be a consumer.
It is.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time to be a content creator, a content consumer, and anyone in between.
Yeah, it really is.
The possibilities are endless.
I'm inspired.
Me too.
Yeah, this was a good conversation.
Yeah. I hope our listeners are feeling inspired too.
Me too.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like and subscribe for more.
Yes.